Okay, I had something called a rare disease. I don't know what the name of it is. I've got it written down in there. But it leaves you with shortness of limb or fouled up limbs. My legs were like frog legs, and my legs only grew as far as your knee. In other words, from the hip to your knee was the length of my foot or leg. So they went in, took out the knee, and made it one straight bone. And then they took off the foot and put the heel of the foot, rolled up the tissue, and stitched that up, and it made an end-bearing stump. And both legs were like that. And the other thing is, I was born without any hip sockets. I have no hips. And that's screwy, because how do you get around without hips? So that, and then my arm, ta-da, just grew as far as my elbow. So that's as far as that is. But I've always used this as a hand. I could do almost anything with it. I've had artificial arms, but they just get in the way. Can't wasn't in my vocabulary. My parents, and this was rough on them, because you're living in 1943 where the war's going on and nobody knows anything. I mean, when it comes to handicap, you're put out with a wash. I mean, you're gone into a home or something like that. Where my condition was totally different. I went into a Shrine Hospital, and they worked with me for over 7 years, 7, 8, or 10 different operations, and did all these things, and this was unheard of. They tried to make a hip socket. I think I was probably the first person in the world that ever had a hip socket that was tried to be made. And it's amazing that I turned out so well because of the time that I grew up. Now, if I grew up today, or if I was born today, and from this point on, it'd be a totally different ballgame. They would have all kinds of stuff they could do, hands that move, and you name it. I mean, look at the knees I have. I didn't have knees like this when I was back in 1955 was the first time I got artificial legs. I had just a swinging hinge, and the knee just swung. Where now, I got all kinds of razzmatazz and good stuff here. So,
Bionic man.
yeah. And they run off of batteries.